Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. Now I hate power scaling and stuff like that, but I do like clearing up misconceptions. I feel like sometimes when people read stuff, and it's very easy to get biased because you prefer a character or you want a character to win, etc., etc. So we all kind of come up with headcanons and stuff like that. Um, so Gojo is stronger than Sukuna, okay, and Sukuna is going all out. Let me explain. Relax. Don't take out the pitchfork yet. Let me explain. Chill, chill, chill. Now, first, before that, you gotta leave a like, you gotta comment, you gotta subscribe. But you know what? Listen, if your curse energy is not enough, then you can't do any of those things. This is only for high level, top tier, honored ones. You know what I'm saying? The gods of Jujutsu. Those are the only people that can subscribe, like, and comment. Those are the only people. The people with the most curse energy, they can do all three. Weak as, you know what I'm saying? Weak as Jujutsu sorcerers, they can't do any of them. You know what I'm saying? Intermediate and decent ones can do one. You know what I'm saying? But the goats, the top tiers, the Sukunas and the Gojos of the world, they can do all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But anyway, so let me explain. There's a misconception first that Sukuna is not going all out because he hasn't showed all his cards. And I want to explain why that's irrelevant. And it does not mean that he hasn't gone all out. Apart from Maharaga, I think that part, he doesn't want to do that because I think it's admitting that Gojo is stronger than him. He will have to do it. I think that 100% he'll have to do it. But let me explain why him not using his fire arrow and his open and the rest of that stuff doesn't mean anything, right? Gojo has infinity, right? So in order for Sukuna to touch him outside of his domain, he has to use domain amplification. And domain amplification means that he can't use his curse technique, which means he can't use cleave, he can't use the fire arrow, he can't use lightning if he has it, whatever other shit, he can't use them because he's using domain amplification. If he uses those techniques, it's irrelevant because they can't go through infinity. Now, if he, let's say during his domain expansion, right? Now, we don't know if he can use things simultaneously, right? Now, if we saw when he fought Ryu, he hit him with a slash, right? Or a cleave, or dismantle, whatever. He hit him with a cleave, and Ryu tanked it. And he was like, oh, not bad. And then he just hit him harder with it, and he died. Cleave is his go-to move, right? It's like you have different types of guns, but you have your go-to gun, right? Because the one you're most comfortable with. I think cleave and dismantle is his most comfortable tool, or the tool that he uses the most, that he prefers to use, right? His preference, let's say. I don't want to say comfort, his preference, right? And his other moves against Gojo specifically are irrelevant. The only reason he needed to use the arrow against Maharaga was because he already adapted to all cleaves and slashes. That's the only reason, right? And the only reason he used it against Jogo was to show him that, listen, you ain't on this level yet. You know what I'm saying? It was like a boasting thing, and also to send him off, nicely, because he felt like, Jogo, you strong. You just fighting the wrong ass opponent. Stop trying to fight me and Gojo. We different, right? And I want to explain why, and I'm going to explain further again why, like, I think that it's irrelevant that he's not using any of his other tools. Let's look at, like, let's say, for example, we're going to use. So, okay, actually, the most relevant thing, domain expansion is your peak. That's your highest, your best move, your strongest, right? And that's it. That is your final move. That's the peak of a Jujutsu sorcerer is the domain expansion. Sukuna using domain expansion means he's going all out. That means he's trying to kill Gojo. That means he's doing everything in his power because that is peak. He gets a boost in stats. His cleave and dismantle is at maximum capability. And Gojo, without his infinity, is tanking it and healing simultaneous. He's just dealing with it because his curse energy's density and strength is so fucking powerful. He can deal with it, right? Maharaga, who was already adapted to cleave and dismantle, could not stand and deal with it. He was literally laid down on the floor, and he wasn't even, imagine, he didn't even have to heal from it, but just the power and the hits and the strength of those cleaves and dismantles had him laying on the floor unable to stand. Gojo is fighting Sukuna while being attacked with these. So why do you all think a fire arrow is going to do anything to this man? Why do you think a lightning strike or any of these things are going to do anything to him? Listen, all of these moves are probably as powerful as each other, and I think it's more so if somebody, for some reason, like a Maharaga or somebody's like can block the slashes, he uses the fire arrow. If somebody can block the fire, he uses the lightning. I think that's all it is. The problem with Gojo is Gojo can nullify pretty much everything because his curse energy output is just too intense. It's too insane, because that's why he's dealing with I don't get it. Domain expansion is your maximum. That's your top best fucking thing you can do as a sorcerer, as a curse, whatever. Your domain expansion is your end all be all. If Sukuna's curse domain expansion is not working, why the would he use a fire arrow? It just doesn't make sense. Unless maybe after his domain crashes and he gets a burnout, and and I think that's maybe why he used it against Maharaga. Maybe he gets a burnout. No, I don't think so actually. But he gets a burnout, and then he can't do what Gojo did, and he uses the fire arrow instead. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like a separate technique or whatever for some reason. You know what I'm saying? The same way like Gojo's 6 eyes don't turn off no matter what. Like even when he's in somebody's domain, his 6 eyes just aren't affected by anything. By the looks of it, his 6 eyes just transcend everything. So I think that's a misconception here that we have, and I think I'm sick of people saying that Sukuna's not going all out. That's not what not going all out means, bro. If he didn't use his domain expansion, he was just using Cleave and Dismantle regularly, you can say that. He used his domain expansion. Doesn't matter if he didn't use his fire arrow. Doesn't matter if he didn't he went all out. It's like you fighting Obito, right? You throw a kunai at him. Sure, kunai could kill him. But the problem is, he phases through it, so it doesn't matter. You throw a Sengan at him, doesn't matter. Just because you didn't throw a fucking, let's say, name a move, like a fire jutsu and a water jutsu and a whatever jutsu, doesn't mean you didn't go all out. Kakashi knew 100 plus jutsus. He never used 100 plus jutsus in a fight. It does not mean he didn't go all out. That's not what not going all out means. It's such a I think it's just a stupid argument. Like, it just doesn't make sense. He'll use it if he has to use it. He doesn't have to use it because he knows he has no fucking effect. His Cleave and Dismantle at its peak with a domain expansion is not working. Why the fuck would a fire arrow work? Why would a lightning arrow work? It doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I think that's why Gege hasn't used it. I think the only circumstance, he's gonna create a circumstance where it makes sense for him to use it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for him to use a move that he's not Maharaga, bro. Like, Gojo is not Maharaga. Like, him hitting him with a fire isn't going to do shit. As we saw, Maharaga could not stand from Cleave. Gojo is fighting through it, punching Sukuna, hitting him with red. Like, come on, it's a different. Gojo's a different breed. You all can't be like. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. The only thing that Sukuna hasn't been using is Maharaga and the 10 Shadows, and the reason is pride. Doesn't want to use it. But I think after this, he will probably do the open, because I think what will happen here is that, kind of predicting here, his domain will break. I think Sukuna's domain will break, and I think he will bring out the wheel in order to immediately adapt, right? And I think Maharaga then is going to come out, and I think Maharaga is what is going to break Gojo's domain, because he's going to be adapted to it, right? And I think what will happen is that then Sukuna will have a curse energy burnout. Ooh, then can he bring Maharaga if he has curse energy burnout? If he's domain, ooh, this is interesting. Actually, I don't know what's gonna happen. Shit, I'm excited to see what happens next. I don't know. Sukuna's gonna figure some shit out. We know that for a fact. But why I think Gojo is stronger than Sukuna, or Prime Sukuna, maybe not current Sukuna, even current Sukuna, to be honest, but Prime Sukuna mainly, is because I think if both Gojo went in that fight with zero knowledge, right? He didn't know about Malevolent Shrine. He knew nothing. Even though Yuji and them should have knew, but which is baffling. But maybe he told them, "Don't tell me. I'm gonna go out blind. I fight better this way." Maybe that's what he said. But he's fighting completely blind, right? And people are going to say, "Oh, he has a 200." He does not have a 200% boost. He's purple. The first attack had a 200% boost, and obviously it's an irrelevant attack, really. So it doesn't matter because it didn't kill Sukuna, right? But I think he just wanted to show Sukuna, like, yo, this is a real fight. Get ready for this shit. But anyway, so Gojo pulls up, no knowledge, and is adapting to everything Sukuna's throwing at him, right? Sukuna, with this knowledge that he knows, because he has Megumi's memories, he has Yuji's memories, so he knows everything that they know about Gojo's power. Which is not absolutely everything, but they know some really key things, like how the infinite void works, and also Kenjaku told them, because Kenjaku also knows how it works because he's seen it. So if you think about it, what it is that Gojo has no prior knowledge. Sukuna has all this knowledge. He knows that if you touch Gojo, infinite void will not work on you, right? So in that fraction of a second, he touched Gojo, changed the binding vow on his domain in order to destroy infinite void. Now Sukuna hasn't even been a second in Gojo's domain, while Gojo has been in Sukuna's domain for most of the fight, right? So if he didn't have that knowledge, that split second that Gojo's domain dominated, right, Sukuna was dead. That was the fight. That was it. That would have been it. GG's. Without that prior knowledge, he does not know that this is what I have to do, because Gojo's domain was about to defeat his, right? So, they would have stalemated, right? Which means they would have drew then. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is why I think because I think Gojo's doing more of an uphill battle than Sukuna is, because Sukuna has, I think, pretty much all the advantage in the world, and he still can't kill this man. Like, imagine putting a guy in your domain expansion for most of the fight, and he's still fighting, spamming his domain expansion, spamming simple domains, spamming fucking everything, blossom, falling block. Like, he's doing all of these things while you slashing him constantly every fucking second. And it's like, what do you do to defeat this man? So hopefully it's not going to be an ass pull if Gojo loses, and hopefully I don't think it's going to be an ass pull if Gojo wins, to be honest, because I think he has a clearer win con in a way. But Sukuna, obviously, again, we don't know all of his techniques. He might fucking summon Jesus. But listen, that's kind of my thoughts. I think there's a few misconceptions with it. If you think Sukuna wins, fair. I think it's not unreasonable. If you think Sukuna's prime is stronger than current Gojo, I think it's a little bit unfair, but I think it's fine. It's reasonable. They are the two peak. You know what I'm saying? But I think, again, Sukuna also has experience, like way more experience, has been living through curses for thousands of years, has been, you know what I'm saying? While Gojo is only like in his 30s or some shit, and he's out here like competing against the strongest sorcerer ever with no knowledge about his abilities, pretty much at all, because he was sealed by the time this guy was doing all of these things. And obviously Yuji's an idiot because he forgets every time they switch, so he actually may not know as much as he thinks he knows. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think he forgets, because I think that was the new binding vow or whatever. But yeah. Or maybe he doesn't forget because he remembers Shibuya. So I don't know. But yeah, so I think that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. What's your thoughts? Comment down below. Debate me. No, don't debate me. I hate debating. But let's have discussions and conversation. Anyways, been your boy Supreme J the God. I'm out.